Hey guys, I'm Jessica Hardesty here with The Real in Real Estate, where we go behind the scenes with top agents from Southern Indiana and Kentucky and learn all about not only how they have made their businesses successful, but who they are as people. Today, I'm super excited to have more conversation with your friend, Lindsay Vallandingham.
Hi.
Hey, Lindsay, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am fantastic. I am so excited to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I remember when I first met you. It was probably almost 7 years ago, and we were in a productivity coaching program together.
We were.
You were new to the business, and I had been in business in another state, and there's just something about certain people that you can see determination and care in their eyes, and I remember watching you light up when Melissa Gabehart was teaching and getting us ready to make some calls to contact people that we knew. So the fact that you're here today as one of the top agents in Louisville does not surprise me in the least. And just so I'm aware, are you licensed in Indiana as well?
Yes, I'm serving both states.
Perfect. And I believe your team is also looking for another top agent that wants to work Indiana business with you?
Yes, absolutely. We would love to attract somebody who wants to work in Indiana. Kentucky too, absolutely, but definitely in Indiana.
Awesome. So if you happen to be an agent out there and you have Indiana under your wing and know all about the best places to live, shop, and eat, make sure you reach out to Lindsay shortly after we provide some information on how you can contact her. So Lindsay, tell me a little bit about who is Lindsay Vallandingham?
Oh gosh, that's a big question. I think first and foremost, everything in my life sort of goes back to music. I was a musical kid, musical adult, went to college for music, and everything in my life has sort of revolved around that, which is why we named our team the Symphony Group, because it's very meaningful and important to me. So everything that I do sort of revolves around that piece of the puzzle. But in addition to that, I'm also a mom and a wife. I've got 3 boys at home that are awesome. And yeah, just like all moms, super busy, running a real estate business, giving a lot of time and energy to Louisville's music scene and raising my family all at the same time.
Perfect. So I'm going to dive into some of the things that you said, probably if I can remember the order. But first you mentioned it revolves around music. Yeah. So you were a musician, or you still are a musician?
Yes, I was a musician growing up, not so much anymore. But I went to college playing the French horn. I actually got a scholarship to play French horn and go to college for free. So I have graduated with my degree in French horn performance, which I joke and tell everybody with a degree in French horn performance, you too can be a realtor.
Perfect. Yeah. Well, you've been very successful, so maybe they should follow your lead in the music industry and then move on to real estate.
It teaches excellent skills as far as being very committed.
Yeah.
Growing up as a musician, dedicating 6 hours a day in a practice room takes a level of commitment to a very fine, detailed work that I think has served me well in real estate, for sure.
Yeah. So do you miss anything specific about spending those 6 hours a day in music?
I think it's funny, I think all of that has transferred in my personal life into running. So I'm also a long distance runner, and it's the same sort of idea of the time spent in your own head. And I think running has taken that place for me, where I would sit in a practice room and have sort of that solitary time for hours on end, perfecting something and working through something. And I think that for me has transferred into running now.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's a lot of athletes and musicians and actors that really enjoy the real estate field because you are able to shift and change with all the different personalities and the different tasks that come about in one day. So at one point in my life, I had a mentor talk about creative energy. And she basically said, individuals that were born to be creative, if they aren't releasing that creative energy in some form, it can be almost like a toxic trait. And she said that toxicity sometimes looks like big success, massive success. And so you see people in the real estate industry, especially like yourself, that you put in a ton of grunt work and you love on your clients like no other. When you get to a place where you feel like your life is either counterbalanced or a little out of balance, how do you reel yourself back in with that energy?
That's a great question. And I think every single one of us sort of hits that point more than once, throughout every month or throughout every year. You're going to have instances where you wake up and go, wait a second, things are off kilter here. And for me, it really has to come back to basics for me. That helps me refocus and recenter. So in my real estate business, that is back to getting on the phone. That's the most basic piece of my business, is let's get on the phone and connect with people. And in music, it's your major and minor scales. And in running, you're talking about just focused, clean, easy running, and all of those little basic little building blocks are what bring me back to balance and bring me back to, okay, I'm level again. I can do this.
Yeah, I love that. I know in the past, just even calling you when you had listings, you're very professional, you really understand. I don't like the word like working the phones, but you hear a lot of business professionals, whether it's real estate or another industry, talk about fear of the phone. Mm-hmm. I feel like you have such a natural ability to connect to people. So when you say get back on the phones, can you explain a little bit more for either new business people or people that are struggling that have been in the business? And we're seeing this change from a speed-based market to a skill-based market. Mm-hmm. What does that look like for you when you're talking about getting back on the phones?
I truly believe there is no replacement for dialogue. And as much as possible, I want to be face-to-face with people. I think we just connect on a human level when we can be face-to-face. There's just too many people to possibly be face-to-face with everybody. So the phone is, for me, the next best thing. You lose, if you're not voice-to-voice, at least you're losing so much in a text message or in a chat on a Instagram or something. There is just no replacement for that voice-to-voice conversation. And it really, I think, is sort of becoming a lost art. There's a lot of fear around the phone. But at the end of the day, people receive and connect with so many fewer people on the phone than we used to. I think about growing up as a kid and I would talk to my friend on the phone for hours. My parents would be like, you have to get off the phone now. Mm-hmm. That's something we used to do. We used to just let the air breathe between two people having a conversation for hours on end. That art of conversation is slipping away. And I think as much as we can hold on to that, it is to each of our benefit, because that is how relationships really are. Our strongest relationships are the relationships where we actually are connecting with someone, not just a text message. You might text your best friends, but you're also going to see them. Right. You're going to connect with them over dinner or at a concert or whatever it may be. But if there are people in your life that you're not necessarily having lunch or dinner with on a regular basis, just a text message conversation is not enough to build that relationship and secure that relationship. And I think the thing I'm most proud about in my business is really fostering deep, meaningful relationships with as many people as I possibly can.
I love that. It sounds like, and again, I know you, so emotional intelligence is it's part of everything that you do in your mm-hmm. personal life and your business. So for the agents that are super competitive, because I know you're also competitive, how do you reel in that drive and actually focus on a win-win where both your client feels like you're winning and the agent on the other side and their client feels like they're winning? Because I saw that firsthand coming from a different area of the country, which it was much bigger. And the way they negotiated was very different than what we see here in local Louisville and Southern Indiana. So can you hit on that a little bit on what is your mindset when you go in to negotiate on behalf of your client, and how you coach both the client you're working with and sometimes the agent on the other end of that phone call to make it a win-win for everybody?
Absolutely. And to your point, the phone call there is an absolute necessity because that person is also a person. And I coach the agents on our team to always pick up the phone and have this conversation, because you mentioned a win-win. A win-win is the ultimate goal for all of us. And yet I beg our agents on our team not to lose sight of our own client's best interest. At the end of the day, our client's best interest is where we need to have our focus. And yet, we are all human. We can play devil's advocate. We can see the other side of things, and we can ask our client, let's look at this from the perspective of the other party. And let's pitch this in such a way that it appeals to them as a win. We do the same thing in all of our relationships. When you're raising children, you verbalize something that you want them to do sometimes in a way that makes them feel like it was their idea, or that they're winning, or that this is going to be a good opportunity for them. And it's the same when you're working in a cross-sale relationship. We want to think about what's best for the other person, and how can what's best for us imitate what's best for them, or come together and be what's best for them. And again, without the phone call, without that direct dialogue with that other agent, we really don't have a sense for what's most important. But at the end of the day, our client really wants this house, or this person really wants to sell, or whatever it may be. And we have to keep that at heart. And we talk to our clients specifically about going back to their own personal goals. Remember that what is on the other side of this is that you're going to get to move in with your son. Or what's on the other side of this is that you're going to get to go live closer to your parents in California, or whatever it may be, whatever their motivation is that's actually driving things. We tend to go back to that motivation as often as we can to remind them what's on the other side of this. And let's not let this little thing or that little thing be the reason that we're not reaching our goals. Because at the end of the day, we're all going to look back 30 days after closing, or a year after closing, and go, that wasn't that big of a deal. I'm so glad I'm where I'm at now. And we just remind our clients of that.
That's amazing. That skill set in and of itself is such a huge asset to the way that you do your business. As we stated before, the market got so fast paced at a period of time where it was, you could just get there, get the offer written. The sellers were receiving 25 offers at a time, which sounds great when you're a listing agent, but the offers are so close together. And without that ability to actually communicate the benefits and the risk, then, there were many agents that got into super difficult situations that they didn't understand. And now also taking it a step further and really understanding the want of why they need to sell, why they need to buy, so that when things don't line up exactly the way they want them to, and let's be honest, 9 times out of 10, there's going to be a little bit of a give take that we can get them to closing and then be beyond that and maintain that relationship. Absolutely. So with you, what are some of the things that you think that your clients want to continue doing business with you? How do you stay in contact with them? What is the valuable things that you offer them post-closing that you feel is super important?
That's a great question. And I think it's one of the pieces that has allowed us to be successful is that we do stay in contact with everybody. And we want to provide value. And we talk about that as a team all the time. Are we providing value? When we talk about reasons to reach out to a past client, maybe they bought a year ago, what is our reason for reaching out, and how can we provide value outside of just, hey, how's it going? Hey, do you know anybody? Those conversations are the reason that phone calls are difficult, right? We don't know what to say. We kind of get lost in seeming like we're always asking for something.
Right.
And so let's turn that on its head and let's say, how can we provide value to them in this moment? It becomes a lot easier for us as a team to provide value when we are offering and planning events. So we do a lot of events because it's just such an easy way to add value. Hey, we're going to do this fall festival, or we're going to do photos with Santa, or we're going to do a giveaway for Mother's Day, or happy hour, or whatever it may be. We have all of these opportunities to reach out and just build that relationship as though they were your friends, because they are your friends. Yeah. You're inviting them to the things that you're doing and the things in your life in the same way that you're inviting your best friends over for Friendsgiving.
Right.
So we're just constantly keeping something on the calendar that we can have as an opportunity to check in with people. And apart from events, we are heavily card driven. We mail a lot of cards, and it's kind of a joke because a lot of people call us and they say, "You're the only birthday card I get."
Right.
It's nobody's mailing cards to 37-year-olds or something. So it's we try to make a new card every year. We mail cards for various holidays. I stole an idea from my aunt and uncle, who now are in their 70s, but every year for my entire life, they mail a letter at the holidays. It just explains how their year has gone. We took this vacation and she's singing in the church and he's, traveling to this and it's just a letter, but I look forward to it every year. Even though their children have grown, their children have moved on, they're still sending me a letter to let me know how their year went. And so we adopted that as a team. Yeah. We send a letter just to say, here's how our year went. And it's entirely personal. It's not about how many houses we sold or anything really related to our business other than maybe our business had a really great year. We might mention that, but it's very personal. And it's, this agent took their family on a vacation and this agent, cycled across the state of Indiana or whatever it may be. So we have all of these little wins that we're sharing with our community. And it's just about building actual relationships, not fake relationships.
That's amazing. So I'm going to take you back a step behind, like, what was it about real estate? How did you go? Because you had a career was it the Louisville Orchestra?
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you go from being in the orchestra to I'm going to be a real estate agent? And what did that look like?
That's a funny question because it feels kind of like a wild, 180-degree turn. And it did in that moment. I purchased a foreclosure coming out of the 2008 market debacle.
Okay.
I bought a foreclosure. I was young and I had a little bit of cash saved up, and that's what I decided to do with it. I bought this foreclosure. And my fiance, he's now my husband, he and I renovated that house while we lived in it. We moved in, it was, had a solid roof, it was safe.
Yeah.
And we just renovated it ourselves, put a lot of elbow grease into it. We lived there for 2 years and we sold it for a profit. And we thought, wow, we should do that again. And so I kind of got the real estate bug a little bit.
Yeah.
But I would say it did take years and years and years for me to sort of decide to go into real estate. Frankly, I was meeting with our TL at the time, Linda Cecil. I was meeting with her for years because I was afraid. The idea of sort of stepping into a career where I wasn't going to have that regular paycheck was scary to me. But my husband has always been my biggest supporter. And he is definitely the person that was like, you can do this. And, he's employed. We're not going to lose our house. The kids are going to be fed. This is a time that you can actually go and just make the leap and do it. Initially, I thought that I would try and manage both. That was my original intention, was that I was going to continue. I was the general manager at the Louisville Orchestra, so it was a big job.
Oh, okay.
And I thought that I would do that during the day and I would practice real estate on my off time. And you've heard before, I'm sure, that is a kind of a path to nowhere, or at least it was for me. So I was doing no real estate at all for months and months. And I thought, this isn't going to go anywhere until I fully leave my job. So I just made the decision and stepped away and did this full time. Okay.
So do you remember, besides the conversation with your husband, because it sounds like you met with Linda Cecil, who is amazing. Love her, for years and years and years before you did it. Was there one thing that just made you take that jump and bet on yourself?
I am a very analytically minded person. And so I needed to have a conversation about how it was really going to happen. I needed to know exactly how I was going to, what I was going to spend, what I was going to earn, how that was going to look. But it's funny because I go back to this conversation that I had where I said, I'm driving around the city and there's hundreds of real estate signs with hundreds of different names on them. And why in the world would someone choose to work with me when all of these hundreds of people have far more experience than I do? And she just said, just don't worry about them.
Is that Linda said that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just don't worry about them.
Right.
Just you focus on your business, put that out of your mind. And I trusted that. And I just said, okay. Because that was my biggest fear, was like, why would someone choose to work with me when they could work with someone with so much more experience? And she said, just don't even go there. And so I closed that door and I said, okay, fine, then I'm not going to worry about that anymore.
I love that. That is such good advice. So
it serves me to this day.
Yeah.
To this day, like that door is still closed.
Yeah.
Like those people can do whatever they want with their careers and their businesses. They just are not affecting mine.
Right. There's enough for everybody.
Exactly.
And one client's going to identify with one person and another client's going to identify with another person. And there's enough business for all of us out there that take care of our clients and really put their best interests first.
Exactly.
So if you were to talk to the version of you that spent years and years and years kind of diving down the rabbit hole of the what ifs, what would you say to the person who is like the you right now that is just afraid to bet on themselves and take that leap? Like, what would your advice to them be?
My only regret in all of it is that I didn't start sooner. I think I hear that from real estate agents all the time. My only regret is that I didn't start sooner. And truly, that's the only regret I have. I have no other regrets whatsoever. I think this has been an amazing career and an amazing opportunity for myself, for the agents on our team, for my family, for everyone. And so that information, when I was at that crossroads of, is this going to be okay? And here's the thing. One of the biggest reasons that I was afraid to leave my role with the orchestra was that the orchestra is my whole heart.
Yeah.
I loved my job. There was never a time where I thought, oh, I've got to get away from this job. And that's true for other people. That wasn't my story. I loved my job. I didn't want to leave my job. The reason that I was seeking something else was not related to the job itself, but more related to the flexibility of raising children. Mm-hmm. And, the orchestra plays when the orchestra plays. I have very little control over my nights and weekends and things like that because that's the business that you're in. And so I knew it was an important decision, but I really didn't want to leave my job. And I think the biggest thing that I would tell myself looking back is that I have had every opportunity to be engaged with that organization at bigger and better levels than I ever had as their general manager. I am with them all the time. I am part of their decision-making processes. I am fully invested in everything that they do in a bigger way even than I was then. And I think that's the piece of the puzzle that old me would have wanted to know, that you're not giving this up.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, I didn't realize that. I don't think we had ever had the conversation of the actual process of leaving, and that you were so in love with that, and now you even get to play a bigger role than you thought was ever possible. Yeah. Okay. That is, I'm not going to get emotional, but this is what I love about the business of dealing with people. Yeah. So many people think that the house is the most important thing, but it is important. Mm-hmm. It's the finance, it's the dream, the American dream, it's the investment, it's the legacy that we leave for our families, but the house is really the byproduct. And I think what you have shown today in an amazing way is it's the relationship that you had not only with the orchestra, that you still continue to have with all of your clients, with your kids, with your husband. That's so amazing.
It is. We talk about in this industry, our big why. That phrase is thrown around a lot at Keller Williams and throughout the real estate industry, because there has to be a reason that you get out of bed in the morning, a reason that you want to work hard. And for so many people, that is their family or their legacy. And I don't downplay that at all. And I really struggled with that for a few years because I thought that should be mine too. I love my kids. They should be my why. But at the end of the day, it's taken me years to realize that the reason that my kids aren't my big why is because my husband is a huge part of their lives. He has a great job and they have a nice home and they're not going to go hungry. They don't have to be my big why because they're good.
Yeah.
And that has opened the place for me, for my why to remain with that orchestra.
Yeah.
And it's the reason, and they are the reason that I do what I do, because now I do have the opportunity to be such a major and influential part of that organization because of what I have done in my business.
Yeah, that's fantastic. All of the things that you said, I also understand the struggling with the big why, because mine was, I wasn't married when I started real estate. I didn't have children. I like money because I like what money can do for not only myself, but for the people I care about. And so I believe it was Linda Cecil that also shared with me, your big why can change a million times, and that's okay. So I think more than anything, for anybody out there that's struggling with making a difficult decision and you don't have empathy for yourself, stop comparing yourself to somebody else's journey, because what we do is we look at, a you, and you're very modest. So do you mind sharing with us how much production did you do last year? How much are you anticipated to close at the end of 2025?
Yeah, we are, I have been tracking and targeting 100 units for several years now, and calling agents and trying to figure out how to get it done. And I think that's where we're going to end up finally in 2025, where I think we're going to get there. It is no small feat to try to get to it. And I have always targeted units. I see units as market share. And it's very important to me to grow our base of our community, the Symphony Group community of people. And so I see every unit as an opportunity to connect with those people and to be an influence in their lives and to spread the Symphony Group word so that we can grow our business as big as we possibly want it to. And so I've always been a person who focuses on units. I think that's going to translate to about 30 million in volume, but I'm not exactly sure on that.
Yeah. And again, I love that because there's no ego involved in that. You went back to market share and how it impacts the community and the people you're trying to serve. So that's amazing. And congratulations. That's no small feat in a market that has been shifting. We're seeing some changes. We talked about that a little bit earlier. So now we've covered your business and some of your personal life. When you are, I think the other thing I've discovered about the clients, and they think that their agents, we just get up and work. When you're not working, what are some things that you enjoy doing?
Well, I definitely enjoy running. That takes a whole lot of time. And I have children who are, my youngest is 9, and I have a 12-year-old and a 19-year-old, and they are very busy. We have piano lessons and baseball and football and trumpet and everything under the sun, just like lots of parents do. So they keep me traveling all over the city to all of their various events, which is very fun. But for myself, running has become such a big part of that. And then I play the piano, and I really do enjoy to play the piano.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. That is my sort of wind down in the evening hobby.
Yeah. Okay. So if we were going out for a beverage, what's your beverage of choice?
Oh, I love an old fashioned. I am not born and raised in Kentucky, but I am now a Kentucky girl through and through, and I would love a bourbon old fashioned for sure.
Awesome. Where were you born?
I'm from Xenia, Ohio.
Nice. So you're a Bengals fan? Did I say it right? Is it Bengals?
Bengals. Yes. Diehard, unfortunately, a Bengals fan. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Well, at least you're still supporting them, right?
Yeah. I mean, we're not fair weather fans in our house. We just put on the shirt and watch them again on Sunday.
Well, I mean, and that's what it takes to be successful in anything, is knowing that so many people measure the best times. That's what we're always looking for, but it's honestly some of the lowest points where the hardest lessons are learned that you have to get back up and go do the next thing.
Yep.
So whether it's your real estate business or the Bengals, it sounds like you're setting a great example for not only your kids, but your team.
Yeah.
And I just love that. I love learning that about you. What if a song came on out of nowhere? Like, what's a song that if you heard it, you wouldn't be able to contain yourself from dancing?
From dancing.
Or singing.
Oh my gosh. So I have a secret passion for karaoke. Okay. I really love it. But when you are like, the way that my brain is wired with music, like I love all of it. That's the hardest question in the entire world. I will share a little secret. I do have a full tattoo on my back from Led Zeppelin.
Nice.
So there's a rocker in there for sure. And I love rock and roll.
Well, that's amazing. I did not know that.
No one knows. It's a secret.
Yeah. Well, now a lot of people know. So did you get your tattoo here locally?
Yes, here locally at Acme Inc. on Bardstown Road.
Okay. Shout out to Acme Inc. I'm sure that Lindsay can help you. Hopefully the tattoo artist is still there.
Probably.
Yeah. Awesome. And what food could you not contain? Well, that's not the right word. If I brought in your favorite food and you wouldn't be able to not eat it, what would that be?
That's a really good question. I really like, I guess I'm going to have to go tacos. Like, I don't think I could ever turn down a taco.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. They're just the perfect food.
Awesome.
And they're mobile.
Yeah.
You can take them on the go.
Yeah. Have you guys ever done a karaoke taco night for your clients?
We absolutely should do a karaoke taco night.
I think everyone in the city would come and want to be your client.
Who doesn't want to do that?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's perfect.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to wrap up things here, but what is one thing right now that you're super excited about, whether it's currently happening in your life or something you're looking forward to in the future? Where are your eyes? Like, what is your eyes and your goals set for to help do for you or your family or your team? Like, how can we help support you in your next big thing?
Wow. The idea of tackling 100 units has been such a singular focus for me for years now that it's like, okay, what is next? And I really do want to continue to grow the Symphony Group on a units basis. I really want to sell more units than any other team in town. So I think that's sort of the next place that we're moving. But as far as where my head's at today, I am singularly focused on a marathon that is about 8 days away.
Where is that marathon?
It's in Richmond, Virginia.
Okay.
And I've been training for it for 16 weeks. And so I'm ready to knock that out and then really get to enjoy the holidays without having that little marathon person on my shoulder going, you need to run, you need to run.
Yeah. My sister does marathons and half Ironman. So that's amazing. Just the discipline and the training that it takes to continuously, and the injuries that you sustain and keep going. I mean, again, it's just millions of examples of why you're successful just in having a conversation with you. Yeah. I also understand you have a huge YouTube following. You post videos all the time. So if somebody wants to find you, can you share your website address, your YouTube channel, your email, and your phone number?
Yes, absolutely. So we have our website is symphony.kw.com. Very easy, symphony.kw.com. And we have a YouTube channel called Symphony Group, or Symphony Realty Group, I think. And we have tons and tons and tons of videos, basically education-based, trying to help buyers and sellers through the process with all of the little questions that they might be thinking of, maybe even before they pick up the phone and talk to a real estate agent. So we want to be that resource. There is no higher compliment to me than when I go and meet with a buyer for the first time and they say, I feel like I already know you because I've watched all your videos. I think that's the best feeling in the whole world. It also really helps us build trust before we're even at the dinner table with that client. We have Facebook and Instagram at Symphony Group, and Symphony Realty Group at gmail.com is our team email. And my personal phone number is 502-377-7778.
Fantastic. And you guys, how many team members do you currently have right now?
We have 3 agents and 2 admin and myself.
And you're looking to grow, is that correct?
Yes, we are looking to add additional agents always. And like we said at the beginning, Indiana, Kentucky, we're open to both.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Lindsay, for your time. I really appreciate learning a little bit more about you. And really what you just hit on is why we're doing a podcast like this, because we want agents to understand that the value that they have for their clients, other agents, other businesses in town really starts with getting to know each other and what we connect each other with in different opportunities. So I know you're super busy. I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to come and sit with us here on The Real in Real Estate. If you want to contact Lindsay, she gave you your information. You can also call us here at Keller Williams Louisville East, and we will gladly connect you to Lindsay. Or if you know an agent or a business professional in the area that's doing big things for other people, we would love to meet them. Reach out to me. My direct number is 502-777-6854, or you can email me at jessica@experiencekw.com. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.